Hello my dear Aries, this is your love and spirituality reading for the time between February 16 and February 28, 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I have put astrological information for the month of February in a video of its own that you can check out in my playlist Q&A. You can also find it at my webpage www.queenofcupstarot.se, where you can also find and buy all the decks I'm using in this video. For this reading, I'm using the Tarot of the Hidden Realm by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Julia Jeffrey, and I will start shuffling your cards. So, when I open your deck here, I see the Page of Wands and the Emperor, so it's very suitable for you because the Emperor is Aries and Page of Wands is your little inner child. So, it seems like it's time for Aries to grow up and grow into the role that was destined for you. You need to align yourself with the mission of your soul. Okay, so I call the divine with love and light. And here we see the Two of Swords, also the Ace of Cups wants to show itself. So I think you are longing for something very much, but you can't accept it in whatever way. Okay, it needs to be accepted in a way that is in alignment with what you truly want and what you truly need. And so it's kind of no time for bad compromises. This is your soul wants to shine through, not a bad compromise. Okay, so I call the 6 elements: earth, wind, fire. No, maybe I was the 4 archangels. We take that first. I don't remember which order I were. So I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world. And here we have the Hermit together with the Emperor. So it's really about you. It's really about your spiritual growth. It's really about your inside. You need to have very keen insight in your inside. Okay, it's a bird skull here in this hermit's necklace. Here you have the bird being alive. So I'm thinking this is like a spooky version of you, and this is the actual alive version of you. So there's a spooky version of you, and that version is it's probably your shadow, but it's something also that's appearing in your dreams. It's something you have forgotten. It's something that you need to remember. You probably don't have to need to remember it with your awakened mind. You need to remember it with your all your other systems, like emotional, biological, subconscious mind. So it's something inside of you, some kind of knowledge that you have seen, and that it's time to recollect it. Okay, it's like you need to go to the land of the ghost and collect this. So I call the 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, 10 of Swords and Ether to join us here today and give us a clear view reading for my dear Aries viewers. So my dear Aries, I want you to have love in your life and to find yourself in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So the 10 of Swords and Ghosts. You might be a little bit troubled during this time, but it's probably exactly what the doctor ordered. So don't be scared of it. Fear is just an illusion. Stay with whatever is. Even if it's a nightmare haunting you, a memory haunting you, something you want to avoid is haunting you. And this, what's haunting you has a message for you. So stop running, okay? Stop running. Okay, I will tune in to you, Aries, and your reading for a few seconds. Okay, so my dear Aries, this is your future. This is your now, and this is the past. So in the past we have a Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is usually Pisces, might be a Cancer or a Scorpio person as well. It might also be you. We saw the Ace of Cups. You might be in love with someone, feeling those romantic feelings. Knight of Cups is the knight in shining armor. It's the person with a mission, searching for the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail is, of course, finding your way back to source energy, finding your way back to unconditional love. But it's not, there's no shortcuts, okay? So always the knight needs to be challenged on his journey. And this is the now, and here you have the Magician. So the Magician together with the Knight of Cups might be good, might be really, really bad as well. Sometimes you might be faced with a person that has two faces, so be careful of that. Also, don't show two faces. If you want something, tell it to the person up front. Don't try to manipulate them into what you want. Be sincere, be honest, be truthful, be open and vulnerable. Even if you are in front of an adversary, you will still win with being upfront and honorable, okay? So if you say, okay, yes, you hurt me now, what you said really hurt my my ego and my pride here, but I'm not taking notice of that because I have something bigger that I want to win from this situation, and that's my inner peace, and I'm having it and you don't. It's kind of this situation where you are in front of an adversary, but it's actually your own shadow, okay? So whatever you say to that own shadow, you're kind of saying it to yourself. But anyways, you need to be very honest and upfront, and it's something that you want. You're on a mission. The Magician has the tools for you to be able to fulfill your mission, so it's not all bad. It's just that the Magician is not that developed. He has found some really nice toys, but he can use them in a very bad way. It's like if a child finds a gun underneath the parent's pillow, it can happen like dreadful things. And especially if the little child is trying to be tough in front of its friends. So be careful with trying to play tough, okay? Be vulnerable, be honest. And here you have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is going into the future. And I think you are going to mature a lot here. This is you, Aries. Here you have a Knight of Swords. Some of you might be involved with an air sign. It might also be what you have seen, the ghost that's haunting you here. And here it's life renewed. You're accepting the knowledge out of this situation. You are maturing, and it seems to lead to you walking away or to you giving up something. So it might be that you see the truth about something or someone, and you're going to start to act accordingly. You're not going to give away your energy anymore, and it's not playing tough, and it's not a survival strategy. It's more seeing the reality, okay? It's like seeing if the person acts like they don't love me, that they don't put me first, that I'm not important, it might be actually meaning that this person doesn't love me and they doesn't put me first. So what does that say about our relationship? Also, when it comes to works and craft, if you're not appreciated, maybe you should try and show your talent somewhere else, where it actually would be appreciated. The Eight of Cups can also be when you have found this thing inside of you that you have forgotten. You might remember your actual reason for being here, and that might make you leave things behind. Okay, so going into here's the past here, sorry, and we have the Six of Wands. So Six of Wands, it's the way that you get attention. Sometimes we get attention by being really good. Sometimes we get attention by playing cool and always win over other people. Sometimes we get attention by our very, very lovely talents that people can appreciate. We see where it goes with this. In the past here you have the Knight of Cups. So this together can be someone coming through and giving you a lot of positive attention as well. And here we have Death. Death. Okay, so the ghost from the past, this bird here, is haunting you. It's something that you should know in this situation. Why do you want this person's attention? Why do you want to have their attention? Why do you want to give them attention? What is it that's here? It's something deeper. It's something hidden. You are just going like an automatic robot after something, and you don't even know why. And you're haunted by a ghost, or you're haunting a ghost. You're following after a ghost. It's something old that you try to renew, and you don't even know it. It's like you're trying to renew an old relationship from the past that might have been dead, you know, for many lifetimes. Okay, and it might also be you trying to revive the appreciation from a parent that didn't give you enough attention, or the love from someone, or the respect from someone. So you're trying to haunt after something, and you are not really sure what it is. So it's almost on the surface, it might look as an addiction, like you being addicted to find love in the wrong places, or appreciation in the wrong places. Where it's easy, it's not really where you want it. If someone is saying, okay, so yes, we can have a love relationship. I want to go on dates with you. I want to be together with you. Yes, I can see a future. I want children. Then maybe you back off, because this isn't what you wanted. You said you wanted it, but when you got it, you didn't want it. And you want something else. So what is it? If you're getting too much appreciation also, you might start taking that for granted. So something is going on with you underneath the surface here. You want something, probably that's a little bit bad for you, and there's a reason to why you want it. We'll see. Here's the Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles is it's protection, and it's 4, 13. 1 + 3 is 4. It's like someone is playing games here. They want attention, and they are protecting themselves from it. It's like a guy, maybe a guy or a girl that's coming and charming you and showing a lot of attention, and then when you give it back, they shy away from you. It's like when they didn't want what you could give them, so maybe you get confused, or you are confusing people like this. That first you say I want this and this and this, and then they come and give it to you, and you shy away, and you get scared, and you're hiding here. So it's something here. I would say that you're probably playing car accident. You want to repeat a bad situation for yourself, and you don't even know that this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to find maybe a bad boy, or this bad kind of girl that's only in it for play and fun, and it's like you want to win over them in the game, like being the one with the like toughest mouth, or with the most rapid comments, or the toughest attitude. So it's not like a love relationship. It's more like a war, where you are trying to show off your feathers, and trying to show off how very cool you are, and that you're indestructible, and no one can take you down. So it's puzzling for me to try to read what it is that you're doing. Here we have a Four of Wands. So Four of Wands is a very beautiful card. It's about self-love. It's about building a foundation for yourself that also make you very attracted to attracting other people. So I'm thinking there's something else coming as well that's more healthy. The old thing isn't unhealthy either. It's just that you're doing something unconsciously. It's like you have a ghost at your side that's doing things for you that you don't know. They are trying to, this ghost of you, or this shadow of you, is trying to reach to something, maybe wants to repeat an old trauma to make it better this time, or to come out of a situation which you lost with your head held high. But there's also something else that's being born with you here. It's this self-love, and you know consciously what you want, but you also have this ghost haunting you, like this side of you that also know what it wants. It's just that you don't know what it wants and why it wants it. So you need to try to figure this out. It's not a big puzzle. It's probably hidden underneath a little bit of rubbish. So for example, you can check back on your relationship if there's a repetition of a certain destructive pattern. And for example, you can write all the names of all the people that has been important in your life, like really important, that you would when you were with them, you would have been sorry if they died. Okay, so that kind of severe, like really, I mean, sorry for real, like it would have devastated you. Probably your parents, your siblings, some of your first relationships and the relationships up to now, you're absolutely the best friends you have had. So those kind of people, not the teachers and everyone, but okay, if it was someone that was you were really amazed by, and you write down their name and all their personality traits. For the first one, for example, your father here, he was kind, warm, a little bit passive aggressive, maybe a little bit martyr. He was very generous. So you write these things, and then you take your mother. She was also warm, but she was not so generous. She had grown up in other conditions, so she was more like this and this. And you write like generous. Everyone that was generous, you keep on with the names. Everyone that was generous, you write generous, or you take you can just do a cross if you want to, and then you fill with the next person's abilities that the first one didn't have, and then you take the rest of them, and then you do it again and again, and you will see where you are repeating certain patterns from at least this life. And usually we are born into a family that can kind of make us damaged in the same way that we need to be damaged to relive a certain past life as well, in a way that will make us open our eyes to what's going on and learn the thing that we were supposed to learn, and we might not have had time to, or not the skills to. In the past life we might have died, so we weren't able to get the teaching, but now we can do the same thing again, and just have the trauma without the dying part, so you can get the knowledge out of this situation. So it's something building here that's very strong. It's 4-4, so it's getting you very stable here. So you're finding your own authority. Your soul has found its temple, your emperor, your Aries self, your own authority. So you might have been scared of yourself being too temperamental and things like that. You don't have to be scared of yourself for that. Align with that and it will be lessened, okay? Because if you, not everything you resist persists. So the more you dislike a trait of being very passionate or very aggressive or very loud, the more it's going to take over, and in inappropriate situation it's going to take you over, like your shadow is taking you over. But if you don't resist it but actually go with it, you can use this superpower whenever it's actually needed. So you'll become more in tune with yourself, you'll love yourself more, you're more in your own focus. So that's also what I'm seeing here. Here we have a Queen of Pentacles, and she comes really self-centered. What I was what I was Freudianic going to say, like it wasn't meant to say it, but it came out. So it's very central in your reading, and it's a Queen of Pentacles, someone that loves themselves and also are able to give this love to others. It's this a person that's very good with taking care of their appearance and nourishing their own body with whole foods, and being so overflowing with love that they can give it to other people. So this is a beautiful picture of self-love that also can overflow as unconditional love. So it's very beautiful and very grounded. I have forgotten Magician, okay. And the next card here is the Six of Pentacles. So it seems like you have been dealing with this ghost from the past, and you might have realized one thing or two about this, that you are trying to revive a bad relationship pattern, a bad life pattern, a bad situation pattern, and now you're starting to know more, at least what you shouldn't do. So you have learned to love yourself, because if you are going with this, like with the trauma of it all, and just let people use and abuse you and mistreat you and all those things, you are actually just building on the karma, giving it more fuel. Now it seems like you have kind of guessed a little bit what the situation is, what the ghost from the past is, what it's haunting you with, and you have started to say no. and you have started to take better care of yourself. It might also be another person, like an earth person in this reading, because we have earth here, that's doing this and showing you a good example. So that might be it too. Someone finally saying, no, I love myself too much to put myself through this. I want to be met with also the same kind of love and unconditional gratitude and hope and cooperation and all those things that we need in a healthy relationship or in a healthy situation. So this is what you are going to accept right now. So it's like you have sharpened your tools and you know how to use them. Your thoughts become the house you live in. This is the creator. You have been sharpened as a better creator. It's something bothering me from the first time I was, because it came through something that was a little bit dark. And I'm thinking that this might be how you feel also sometimes, that there comes through something that's a little bit dark. See this. This is the ghost. This is the one that you need to embrace, the last part of yourself. Okay, so it might be that you want to really win over a person. If you don't, you might feel bad for weeks. Choose to not win. Choose to feel bad for weeks. Stay with that, okay? That is the garden that you're building here. It's like a garden where you can go on for miles on your own love, on your own prosperity, on your own energy. It's like when you love yourself, you become this big, it's like you're becoming, first you were this pale planet without life, but then when you start love yourself, it's like your planet comes to life. So then it doesn't matter if someone has humiliated you or you didn't win. You're still growing and being in this prosperous state. So I'm thinking that it could be a good exercise for you to not win. Okay, to say, okay, you got me, you won. Sometimes you won't do that because you have the force here. So it's showing that you want to have boundaries. You don't want to let the ghost of the past make you trip into the same stupid pattern over and over again. You can say, okay, ghost, I see what you're trying to do. I see that you want to make me come into the same situation. So I will treat myself better this time. But I choose to treat myself better even from now, from this first step. So I will say no to this situation. I won't go into this with this bad boy or bad girl or this in this situation where people are not really appreciating me. I'm actually going to say no to that loud and clear, but with love. Okay, so, and you can still, and if you feel like you want to, you know, give them a last, like, smack on the face, these people that have hurt you, remember that they hurt you because they felt the same way that you did. They were also haunted by a ghost. So you smacking them up or winning over them is not really going to help. Your boundaries and your self-love, on the other hand, is going to help a great deal. Okay, so no revenge, no bitterness, no I'm trying to win over you kind of thing. Focus more on yourself and what you can build for yourself, more than personal beefs with other people where you take it very personal how they act or react towards you. That's giving them too much power when you have all the power here to make your life prosperous. So I'm thinking that this might be what the ghost from the past wanted you to learn from the first place. And you just let them haunt you without really trying to figure out what it was that they wanted. And finally you might have figured it out that, okay, I was just to relive this situation so I would be able as a grown-up to take better care of myself and also better care of the other person, to not waste their time if I'm not on the right place, in the right occupation, or in the right love relationship. It's also for the other person. If they don't love you enough, it's probably someone else out there for them that's much better suited for them. And that same goes for you. So if you are chasing someone down that doesn't really want you, or not really interested in you, stop the chase. They are not for you. They have their free will. If they are running away from you or politely trying to say, well, I'm so occupied, I didn't have time, I didn't have my phone with me, I forgot. They are nicely trying to say, without really standing up for themselves, they are trying to say, I'm not particularly interested in doing anything with you. So take those polite but very non-authentic hints and understand when you're not wanted, okay? So here is in the future, and we have a Two of Swords. So yes, you can do it this way too. You can force a person to say what's on their mind. If you don't want to guess, you want to have the answers. You can guess for their behavior if they want you or not. But here you might not want to guess. You want to hear their speaking out loud. Because it can be like this sometimes. We see the Six of Wands here, the Four of Wands. This situation probably makes you feel very good. But then suddenly this with the Ghost, it's like a person might go hot and cold on you. And I think you don't need to talk that much about that. It's just to be very polite and say, well, I noticed you lost interest and I want someone that's more into me, that's more into this, what I'm trying to build here. I'm seeing you're preoccupied elsewhere, and I hope you find what you are looking for, and I'm going to find what I'm looking for. You don't have to be bitter about it. If they were warm here, appreciate that they were warm here, and if they're turning cold later on, sometimes we have something just for a little while and then it's gone. Don't try to revive a dead horse. And here you have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is Taurus. You have Virgo here. You also had a Hermit before. This is death. It's connected to Scorpio. You have a lot of Earth here as well. So it might be that you're involved with an Earth sign that's very slow and lethargic, and they are totally happy where they're at, and it feels like they're not giving you enough attention. It doesn't have to be an Earth sign. It might be just a person that's very closed off. It might be you that's like this. You're very closed off, so you're not inviting people into your life. You're not letting them know how you feel about them. So with the Hierophant here, it's something that you already know. You know this goes from the past. So you have running in circles around this, but you already knew everything that was to know here. You have known it from the first time you tried. You might have been scared of something, maybe being scared of being played, since we have the Magician here, being scared of being charmed by someone that didn't mean business, or being scared of giving your heart to someone that would fall out of love with you. Or giving your energy at the workplace and then seeing that no one was really appreciating you. So all those things that you have did from the first day you were there, from the first day you met this person, you had this fear. So you already knew what was going to happen. And then when it actually happened, you felt like, oh, it's always going to be like this. It's always going to be like this. I will never have happiness. But that's not true. What you did was you knew what you were going to be tested in, and then you were tested in it, okay? And your reaction wasn't all that what it could have been cracked up to be, okay? So you didn't use your knowledge fully. You should have, since you were scared of it, you should have put a little bit attention to it, like in the backwater a little bit, like, okay, I'm very scared that this person will leave me. That might be a reality, but I'm not going to create it with my own anxiety. Like if we are always, oh, you're going to leave me, oh, you're going to leave me, of course the person is going to leave you. So you're cool about it, but you have it in the backwater, remembering that this was what I'm scared about, that this person is going to leave me. So when the person is starting to take certain steps out of the relationship and showing that they don't have the same interest for you, you might call them on this and talk with them and say, okay, this is what I see. If you don't get good answers, or if the person's answers are accordingly with what you are feared of, see the reality. You already have the knowledge. You already knew what you were going to be tested in, and the test was self-love. To choose you before the other person or before the faulted situation. So this is all you have to do. And maybe, yes, a couple of times, 3 times maybe, but when you have done it in a very gracious way, like, okay, I give you a free pass, have a nice life, I will miss you, but I accept that this is what I see with you and this is what you said to me, so I accept this to be the truth. And you wave the person goodbye. When you do this, you might actually solve like eons of karma with yourself. And the person doesn't even have to go that far. They might boomerang back to you. Whatever you sacrifice, if it's truly yours, it's going to come back to you. If you don't burn bridges and say, okay, I hate you for not loving me, so see you in hell. So then, well, you have burned your bridges, so they won't be boomeranging back to you. And if they do, they probably don't have healthy boundaries and not loving themselves enough, and then they are not good anyway. They need to take another lap. Okay, so you want to be with people, you want to be healthy yourself and be with healthy people. So respect yourself more than you're respecting the circumstances in your life. Rather sacrifice the circumstances in your life than you. So you already knew this. You knew this all along. You just were too scared to admit it to yourself, and you hoped that you were wrong. But you remembered your mission. You remembered your karma. You remember exactly what it was that you were going to be faced with. And you might have thought, oh, it's so unfair. Why should I always be rejected? Why should I always be in this and this and that position? Well, because you needed to have the experience. You needed to take better care of yourself. You needed to give justice to yourself. You needed to start loving yourself. You needed to put yourself first. You needed to see too that you were in a relationship that was fair and that everyone was doing their fair share. And you were also supposed to learn to have boundaries and love yourself, okay? People that don't love themselves are dangerous, okay? They are dangerous. They can become whatever nasty thing you can see on earth. People that don't love themselves, they need to be like vampires and steal things from other people. It's ugly. So you want to love yourself. That's a foundation for being a good human, to love yourself and stand by yourself in also the most difficult situation. So you already knew. So the task is simple. You knew it beforehand what was going to happen. So when it happens, you take action accordingly. You don't want to be in a situation where you're not wanted, okay? And here you have a 10 of Wands. So 10 of Wands is probably your little bit of challenge to know when to use your superpower, to know when to shop heads and not. Because the 10 of Wands might easily... Here you got attention and you felt loved and everything. And when you don't, when this situation of teaching come forward, you might want to shop some heads. But try to not to. Try to... be gracious. You can use this shopping head in other situations. Like when you really need to put yourself in respect, for example. Not to frighten someone that's already have something to say that they are shivering in their bones about. Because it might be very scary to say to someone, well, I'm not that in love with you anymore. Or I thought it was going to be great for us, but I'm not feeling the interest anymore. Or I thought you were the right employee, but I haven't been so happy with your work. And then you're screaming their heads off also. That's not making it better. And this with you screaming their heads off is probably because this was what you feared all along. So you're taking it out on the person, the messenger. And the messenger was only there for you to repay a karma. Don't create more karma for yourself by burning bridges and making yourself impossible. Try to be more like staying like this is Buddha, staying like a Buddha, like, okay, so I accept whatever is. I accept that I need to check what's really going on here. I accept that I know what's going on, but I want to hear it from this other person. I accept that I'm very angry. And you can say also, I'm very angry with you. I'm very angry with you for letting me be in this loop for so long time without telling me. But don't scream their head off. 8 of Cups, it's going to end with you leaving the situation, but hopefully graciously, okay? Hopefully in a way that you just pay off a karma. Karma doesn't mean that you have been bad or done something bad. Karma just means that, okay, you learned it from this position. Now you need to learn it from this position. Maybe you have been, in one life, you had to tell someone that maybe were really dependent on you, that you didn't love them anymore, and you had to fail on them. And that was harsh. And then you had to be in the receiving end in the next lifetime. So it's just, you didn't need to have the full facet of experience from every different angle. And now, if you're like blowing off fuses on someone, you are going to have to meet that too. People that's blowing up fuses on you. So yes, try to be as wise as possible. Wisdom here, it's this ghost here from the past. It's scary, but it's wise, because it had the key to your knowledge all the time. It was just that you were scared to death of trying to use the key to anything useful. Okay. Fork in the road. Yes. So eights, it's usually like leaving a situation, but it's sometimes boomeranging back. Eight is an eternity symbol, so it might be a situation that going to have to be repeated in certain steps for you to have the whole picture or learn the whole story. So don't chop heads off. You might still have things to learn from a certain situation. Okay. 13. Fork in the road. Time to make a decision, considering the consequences as you prepare to act, owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. Every choice has a consequence. You arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroad. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. You reach a moment of truth in the evolution of your relationship. Which will you choose? To open up to the possibility of love, or to remain isolated, to go deeper and commit to mutual passion, or to walk away? This is a time to take responsibility for your truest desire and follow it. Be honest with yourself about what you're willing to do, invest and give. Then choose. You cannot make a wrong choice. If you move forward with a relationship, know that it will be based in truth and authenticity. You will have made a conscious decision rather than simply hanging on because you don't want to be alone, or ending things because you are afraid of the intensity of genuine connection. All roads lead to the lesson you must learn in your relationships. Regardless of the decision you make, it will place you on the path to a truer experience of the heart, because you can never avoid your karma. If you say no to one person and you didn't work it through, you will have to do it with the next person. It might take time for the next person to come, so you might be in limbo for a long time if you have said no to a person before the next one can come, because the divine needs some time to put a new lesson together for you. But I think you need to side with yourself without being so fearful of what the consequences might be. Follow your own authority here, no matter what I said. Indecision is extremely frustrating and will lead to anxiety, loss, and confusion. At this juncture, you can't remain in place without losing your way altogether. Avoid the tendency to let others choose for you, which amounts to a subtle refusal to take responsibility, to use the key of the ghost. That is, don't give your power away, not even to this oracle. Yes, what I just said with the authority. By not making a choice, you are making a choice for which you must be accountable. If that choice leads to undesirable circumstances, take heart. Spirit never tires of giving you second chances. You can always start again once you learn this valuable lesson. You will always need to have learned this valuable lesson, so you will have to start again. But spirits and you have worked very hard to manifest a certain situation, but don't stay in it for any stupid reason, like, well, I love the person so much, even though they don't show me the same thing back, or I stay just to not hurt this person's feelings so they won't be sad when I leave and I will have to live with the bad consciousness. Because this is the other side of this story, that there's a person here that might not tell you the truth because they don't want to live with the consequences of that truth, and you might need to get it out of them, or just judge their actions. Their actions is usually more truthful than their words. So her joy renders the impossible task possible. Pleasure is the key to successfully taking the next leap of faith on your life path. You are guided to allow joy to be your safety net, your attitude, the feeling by which you are guided, and the basis of your decisions. Bliss, happiness, joy. These are high frequency, high states of being that cannot be contrived, and yet, despite what mainstream culture tends to think, are not dependent on our life circumstances. That is a great and powerful teaching, and perhaps one of the most radically freeing teachings the Divine Mother can ever bestow upon us. To learn to feel joy in our hearts without having to have a particular reason for it is the beginning of access to great spiritual power. To be able to tap into the frequency of joy, of simple delight in being alive, and utter appreciation, reverence and gratitude for the humor, diversity, and beauty, even the confounding, inexplicable mystery of creation is remarkable. It is the way to cultivate divine power, the sort of power that allow you to fall completely in trust and land with perfect precision in the best set of circumstances possible for you to fulfill your divine destiny. Both these cards is flight. This card is taking responsibility. So I think you will take responsibility and then make a flight. It seems like this, that you will leave the situation. But take this decision not so lightly. Not take it in bitterness or to win over some other. Take it seriously. You know what you need to learn. Are you going to learn it by saying no to this person? Is that what you need to learn? Is that what you have feared all along? To say no and to reject a situation that you really truly want? Or is your fear to give yourself to a person or a circumstance? So you know the thing that you fear the most is the thing that you need to stay with and overcome. So if you're a person that's always run, don't run this time. And if you're a person that always stay, maybe it's time to run. So you need to challenge yourself a little bit, do something that you haven't done before. So my dear Aries, I see something else for you. I told you about this list with the personalities. That's one thing. Also make a list of all the things you don't like in your life, how you wish them to be, and a plan for how you can get there. So then you have something to work with that's solid and that can also help you choose in this situation. And here's the choice, because you get a lot of positive things from this. It's a lot of positive things. It's just this goes from the past, the things that you need to learn. So it might not be anything wrong with the actual relationship. It might just be your fear that making this happen for you. It might be nothing going on the outside, just on the inside. That's also a very likable scenario for you, Aries. That everything this is going on with a ghost in your head and not on the outside. Okay, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care, and I welcome you back to my March reading that I will do in the middle of February. Okay, bye-bye.